And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. The Brazilian woman who went viral after refusing to give up her window seat to a crying child is suing the airline and the passenger who recorded her. This happened back in December. Let's take a look. 29-year-old Jennifer Castro says she booked a window seat in advance, and when she got on the plane, the child was in her seat. The boy threw a tantrum because he wanted to look out of the window and didn't want to move seats. The situation escalated when another passenger began filming. I talked to attorney Charles Adams about the lawsuit.
What I wanted to take a look at was, what are the implications if you do something like that in America? Because it's done all the time. People don't know who's videotaping them. People will videotape them, put it on social media, and you will become the target of the public. Your thoughts on this? First of all, let's talk about Jennifer's case.
Well, her case is obviously specific to the torts that are available in the laws of Brazil, which are very, very different. They're, obviously it arises from the Portugal common law, and they have claims that we don't have. In United States, if you're in a public space or in a private space, but a business space that doesn't have rules against it, you're typically amenable to being filmed, right? We've seen a number of videos where people have aggressively told people to stop filming them, that they don't have their permission to film them. And we've even seen videos on social media where people call the police and say, hey, this guy is filming me. Right. And typically the police give the appropriate American answer, which is, well, you're in a public space and people are allowed to film. So the sad truth is privacy is dead, right? Now, it's very different in this young woman who was a banker and is now a Instagram, TikTok influencer. Apparently her Instagram blossomed to 2.1 million followers. And she left the banking industry, and it seems like it has been a net positive, a benefit to her. And if I was the attorney defending the filmer and the airline, I would say, hey, what are her damages? Now she's famous. Now she has all this revenue from other streams.
In fact, she owes my client now for making her famous.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the argument. Now, in Brazil, it does appear that you have to get permission to film people. So I do think she's got a valid claim there. I don't think she would have a valid claim here. Now, if the airlines wanted, they could prohibit it on the airline itself, on the aircraft, and then punish flyers who violate that rule. But I don't see them doing that, except maybe Spirit out of just sheer embarrassment, right? But we are seeing
not Spirit, Charles. Not
well,
Spirit, right?
I mean, how many videos, how many things on Spirit have you done on this show, right? I mean, people don't know how to act on Spirit. Spend some money, fly United, right? But ultimately, we've spent the last 20 years or so just raising a generation of grievance and entitlement, right? And when you look at the seat swapping epidemic, it's just gotten out of control. If you go to any airline subreddit or you look on social media, there's just story after story. I had a guy ask me, I fly in a very specific seat. I fly in the first row aisle on the left because I've got a bad knee and I like to be close. That's the most leg room. I had a guy ask me not once, but twice. And I was, no, I'm not doing it, right? This is what I paid for. And Jennifer paid for her seat. And if you dig in deeper to the story, the most despicable part, the family that was shaming her and haranguing her, they weren't the filmer, but they were the one with the child. They had another window seat with an adult in it. They just didn't want to give up that. They wanted to take hers. And that's just what we're telling so many people nowadays, is that they're entitled to the things that other people have worked for or purchased, and that they have a valid grievance when they're not given it. And then this just coddled child screaming and yelling because they didn't get their way. I mean, come on, Quanell. We need to have some damn discipline and tell these kids life is not meant for you always to get your way. In fact, you've got to work hard to get your way, not just scream and cry.
All right, Charles, you've taken a dig at Spirit and Cornell, so I think we better stop here. Always good to see you here on The Factor Uncensored.